The attorney Roy Black is watching all of this with us, and Roy, what will you be looking and listening for as the reading begins?
Well, Brian, obviously there's a lot of anxiety on the defense team. One of the key things is going to be count one, this conspiracy count. I would think there's less evidence regarding that count than any other count in this indictment. If he's found guilty of count one, then he's going to be found guilty of everything. I would not be surprised if he's found not guilty of count one, but found guilty of some other counts. So you got to listen to that first count, because if he's convicted of that, then he is going to get convicted of all the charges.
Roy, when attorneys get together to talk about what is publicly known about how this trial's been argued, the Monday morning quarterbacking that almost necessarily goes on in your business, what is the general view about how the people have conducted the case?
Well, I think the case has been done very well. I mean, I wish there had been cameras in the courtroom so people could see it. You know, it's very tough running a huge trial like this. I think both sides acquitted themselves very well. I thought the defense did an excellent job. I think Mesereau is an excellent lawyer. And I think you have to give credit to the court and the lawyers for ignoring the circus-like atmosphere that's going on outside.
Well, there's an understatement. Roy, as you saw there, the doors have been closed. And we're going to tread very lightly here as we look at the crowd outside, some of them using sheets of cardboard to shield them from the sun. Outside the courthouse there in Santa Maria, we will be listening all the while for the beginning of the instructions from the judge to jury. And we are left to assume now that members of the jury are free to file in and that all are seated and ready in the courtroom. So we are waiting for word. We're all electronically hooked up here and ready to bring simultaneously the first word, first audio we hear from inside that courthouse, and bring it to you, perhaps in a halting fashion, because we're all in listening mode here. Dan Abrams joined me for a brief run-through of just how this chain of information works and how we will get it on the air when we learn it.
Well, Brian, right now the microphones in that courtroom are off. The judge is going to instruct the media by effectively turning on the microphones. And at that point, we'll know the jury has been seated, the jury has arrived in the courtroom, all of the lawyers are there, the judge is present, because until that moment happens, there will be no sound coming from that courthouse. And what makes this verdict, I think, so mysterious in a way, and which makes, I think, the drama of this heightened, is the fact that people here don't really have a sense of which way this is going to go. In these high-profile cases, very often, you can talk to the reporters, you can talk to the legal analysts, and they'll say to you, yeah, this is really bad for the prosecution, or this is really bad for the defense, what we've just heard. In this case, as it has been throughout, people are divided. The legal analysts, the reporters, the observers don't know what to make of the last request from the jurors. Remember, the last testimony that we know of, that they listened to, that they asked to have read back to them, was that of the accuser himself. And some might say, well, that's good for the prosecution. But it is impossible to know whether they were ruling out a conviction or trying to incorporate one additional juror. Those are the sort of things that you just can't know. And in this particular case, it is more uncertain than I think any case I've covered. At this point, as we're waiting for the verdict, I have no idea which way it's going to go.
And Dan, weren't there requests from the jury in this case that the media were not allowed to know the contents of?
Yes, there were. Initially, the court was not informing the public at all about any requests from the jury, any meetings that the lawyers were having. Well, after a motion was filed by an attorney on behalf of the media, suddenly we got some information that on Friday there had been some readbacks, that today there had been a number of meetings amongst the lawyers